Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jairad Amadhava Kunjabihari Jairad Amadhava Kunjabihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayom Vishnupada Prahamsa Parijakacharya Shotashata Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parijakacharya Shotashata Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, titled Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu, text number 14. Yata Praram Yatyayo Brahman Swayam Akarsha Sannidao Tata Me Vidyate Chetash Chakrapane Yadrichaya Yata Biram Yatyayo Brahman Swayam Akarsha Sandidao Tata Me Vidyate Chetash Chakrapane Yadrichaya Yata Biram Yatyayo Brahman Swayam Akarshya Sanditao Tata Me Vidyate Chetash Chakrapanir Yadrichaya Yata, just as Viram Yati moves Aya, iron Brahman, O Brahmanas Swayam, itself Akarsha, of a magnet Sannidao, in the proximity Tata, similarly Me, my Vidyate is changed Cheta, consciousness Chakra Pane, of Lord Vishnu, who has a disc in his hand. Yad Rishaya, simply by the will. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Brahmanas, teachers, as iron attracted by a magnetic stone moves automatically towards the magnet, my consciousness, having been changed by his will, is attracted by Lord Vishnu, who carries a disc in his hand. Thus I have no independence. Purport. For iron to be attracted by a magnet is natural. Similarly, for all living entities to be attracted towards Krishna is natural, and therefore the Lord's real name is Krishna, meaning he who attracts everyone and everything. The typical examples of such attraction are found in Vrindavan, where everything and everyone is attracted by Krishna. The elderly persons, like Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Devi, friends like Sridam, Sudama, and the other cowherd boys, the gopis like Srimati Radharani and her associates, and even the birds, beasts, cows, and calves are attracted. The flowers and fruits in the gardens are attracted. The waves of the Yamuna are attracted, and the land, sky, trees, plants, animals, and all other living beings are attracted by Krishna. This is the natural situation of everything in Vrindavan. Just contrary to the affairs of Vrindavan is the material world, where no one is attracted by Krishna and everyone is attracted by Maya. This is the difference between the spiritual and material worlds. Hiranyakashipu, who was in the material world, was attracted by women and money, whereas Prahlad Maharaj, being in his natural position, was attracted by Krishna. In replying to Hiranyakashipu's question about why Prahlad Maharaj had a deviant view, Prahlad said that his view was not deviant, for the natural position of everyone is to be attracted by Krishna. Hiranyakashipu found this view deviant, Prahlad said, because of being unnaturally unattracted by Krishna. Hiranyakashipu therefore needed purification. As soon as one is purified of material contamination, he is again attracted by Krishna. Sarvopadi vinir muktam tat paratvena nirmalam. In the material world, everyone is contaminated by the dirt of sense gratification and is acting according to different designations. Sometimes as a human being, sometimes a beast, sometimes a demigod or tree, and so on. One must be cleansed of all these designations. Then one will be naturally attracted to Krishna. The bhakti process purifies the living entity of all unnatural attractions. When one is purified, he is attracted by Krishna and begins to serve Krishna instead of serving Maya. This is his natural position. A devotee is attracted by Krishna, whereas a non-devotee, being contaminated by the dirt of material enjoyment, is not. This is confirmed by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita. Yesham tivantya gatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandvam moha nirmukta bhajante mandridavrata. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and who are free from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. One must be freed from all the sinful dirt of material existence. Everyone in this material world is contaminated by material desire. Unless one is free from all material desire, anya bilashitam shunyam, one cannot be attracted by Krishna. Om Agena Taramandasya Ginanjana Shlakaya Chakshumatamyana Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Prahlad Maharaj is explaining to his teachers in this verse about attraction to Lord Vishnu. They asked him, Sonda and Amarka, his teachers, had asked him, how have you become so deviated? How have you um, come to think such nonsense thoughts? Such a not just a wrong conclusion, but the opposite conclusion by unnaturally becoming attracted to Vishnu or Krishna. And Prahlad Maharaj is informing them in this verse that actually their vision is the one that is completely opposite to the reality. Krishna is naturally attractive. He actually is the only thing that is truly attractive to the living entity. But due to contamination, the living entities are attracted to so many other things, various varieties of sense gratification. But uh, those who are under the spell of the material energy view things in completely the wrong way, just like Sonda and Amarka in this verse, and in this chapter more generally. Uh, they view that uh, material engagement, in Prahlad's case, material education that is geared specifically towards following in the footsteps of his father, Hiranyakashipu, who is in many ways emblematic of the drive of material enjoyment. He wanted his son, Prahlad Maharaj, to have a good future. Perhaps some of uh, the audience, when they joined Krishna consciousness, got a similar talking to by their parents or some other person who was a material relation to them somehow or the other, about uh, throwing away your life, or wasting your time, or ruining your future or something like that. Uh, I don't know, when I quit graduate school and moved into the ashram back in Philadelphia, the first time my father visited the city uh, after that event happened, we were driving in the car and he was like, well, Jack, uh, your 20s are when you're supposed to be, building skills so you can have a career and things like, and, set up your life for, the decades to come. Meaning, of course, that is the time that I could build the skills so that I could uh, make a lot of money and become attractive to women, which is the sum and substance of material existence. And Hiranyakashipu wanted the same thing for Prahlad, that you'll be very wealthy, very powerful, and have a very nice wife. Prahlad, of course, being a pure devotee, was not interested in such things. A pure devotee who is attracted to Krishna, is purely attracted to Krishna, is not attracted by any material object. It is written in a kind of opposite way, using a poetic license, that one should not go to Vrindavan because, and one should especially not go to the banks of the Yamuna because if one does, one will see a beautiful form there that is bending in three places and carrying a flute, and one will lose attraction for all material entanglement, for all material activities. Of course, the actual point of the poem is that one should go to Vrindavan and see this threefold bending form, and consequently lose all uh, attraction for material enjoyment, because that is our natural position. There are so many things, so many designations that we think is our natural position, that we think is just natural to us. And there's certainly propaganda today in the culture generally to, just do what feels right to you. It's your life, you should live it however you want. And, if anybody tries to stop you from, following your own path that's in your heart, then they just don't get it, or you shouldn't associate with them, or you shouldn't listen to them. What this sort of advice doesn't take into consideration is how contaminated our hearts are. We have been in material existence from time immemorial. It is not inconceivable, actually, that some of our so-called natural inclinations have actually just been hardened into the heart over millions or even billions of lifetimes. But still, it is not natural. It is actually not what our actual position is. And we see that these uh, inclinations uh, now, change again and again, both in this one body and between bodies. Even in this one body, when one is a small child, 3, 4, 5, one does not feel sexual attraction. But as the body grows, the seeds of those desires fructify and one's attraction changes. One might enjoy a certain food at one time and then dislike it at another time. I remember that one time after moving into the ashram, I was going on to Temple University campus for book distribution. And there was just this horrible smell. And I was like, what is going on? Like, what happened? Where's the smell coming from? I don't remember there being such a noxious odor when I was attending classes here. And then I realized it was all of the food trucks, and it's the smell of meat coming from them. Previous to Krishna consciousness, I was a meat eater and I would have been attracted by the smell. But uh, afterwards, I was repulsed. So, which one is natural and which one is unnatural? Likewise, even between bodies, when a person is in a human body, they might find, if they are a man, they might find the body of a woman very attractive, to look at, to imagine touching, etc. And they might find the body of a cockroach very repulsive. Get it out of the house, get it away from me. But if one is in the body of a male cockroach, one finds the legs of the female cockroach very attractive. And perhaps, I don't remember being a cockroach, but perhaps finds the body of people, of humans, very unattractive. So, uh, exactly the opposite. So, which one can we say is actually natural? We have felt both at different times, right? Most likely, the majority of us at least, have been in cockroach bodies and tiger bodies and tree bodies. And in each uh, life, in each different variety of body, we have found different things attractive, different types of food stuff, different types of partners, different types of living conditions, etc. So, what is actually natural to the living entity? And it has to do with our identity. To understand what is natural to us, we have to understand our identity. If we get our identity wrong, if we misunderstand our actual constitutional position, then we will be attracted to the wrong things, that we won't understand actually our true attraction. If we think that we are a temporary collection of particles, as the materialists say, then we will simply be attracted to sense gratification because there's no higher goal, no higher uh, process, no higher reality for us to plug into. Uh, if everything is just the mm, product of chance, that one day, billions of years ago, of course, who can even define a day back then? Uh, there was a quantum fluctuation or parallel universe or something like that. And there was an explosion, and now, we have stars and planets and bicycles and things like that. And, millions of years ago, there was some primordial soup in some pond somewhere that was struck by lightning, and the first life formed from that. Uh, if this was actually the case, then it leads to the tendency of uh, sense gratification. Because if there's no controller, if there's no God in control, if everything is just temporary, then why not uh, just get yours while you can get it? Because there's nothing after. You live 80 years and then you're finished. This is the demoniac tendency of life that is described in the Bhagavad Gita, but it actually does not fit our experience. There's, of course, the various forms of evidence, reincarnation studies, near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, etc., that uh, show or indicate that there is a non-material aspect to our existence here. And even in our own personal experiences. I experience making free choices outside the laws of electromagnetism every day. There's this phrase that's coined by the atheists that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. At least for me, I consider the claim that I am not actually making free choices when it seems every day uh, that I actually am deciding things. Uh, that the claim that I'm not actually doing that is an extraordinary claim. And at least I have not yet seen extraordinary evidence for it. And even, various phenomenon that we see people do uh, does not make sense. They do not make sense if we are simply machines made for self-preservation. If we hear about a soldier jumping on a grenade to shield his comrades, we valorize him, we call him a hero. And if we uh, instead hear about a soldier pulling one of his fellow soldiers in front of him to shield himself from the grenade, we would call him a coward and vilify him. But if everything is just material and uh, based on self-preservation, uh, the second choice would be understandable, and the first choice would be inconceivable. But that is not our experience because there's this innate understanding that we are not these bodies, that we are not these material designations. And so we have to understand, we have to come back to our actual constitutional position, which is being attracted by Krishna. The description given in this verse is that of the actual natural, or in this purport rather, is the actual natural position of all living entities, of being attracted by Krishna, that all of the devotees, all reality in Vrindavan is simply attracted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, simply attracted by Krishna. Or even the waves of the Yamuna. On this planet, waves are uh, there because of being attracted to the moon. In Vrindavan, in the spiritual world, the waves are there because they are attracted to Krishna. And in so many other ways, even the fruits and the flowers and the grass and the animals, everything is attracted to Krishna. And that it is this consciousness that we have to revive if we want to leave this material world. But that means leaving behind sense gratification. And uh, mm, the trade-off is completely worth it because there is actually nothing attractive in this material world. There are things that we might think are attractive. Uh, Most of what goes on in material so-called enjoyment is actually mental speculation, in that I basically hype myself up for trying to enjoy something, and then think, oh, when I get this, when I achieve this thing, when I have this job or this money or this partner, then I will be happy. Then I'll actually enjoy, and it'll be so great. But when it actually comes time to uh, enjoy money or intoxication or sex life, it's not that great, actually. There is actually nothing enjoyable in the material world. And the sooner we realize this, the sooner we can give it up. And once we give it up, we can make progress on actually becoming attracted to Krishna uh, in an unalloyed way. Uh, Prabhupada used this term unalloyed. It comes from metallurgy. He saw it on a metalworking uh, uh, advertisement, I think, or something like that. And uh, it means an alloy, of course, is a mixture of two different sorts of metals. So as long as we are uh, attracted to material enjoyment, as long as we are pursuing material enjoyment, our devotion is alloyed, that it's mixed with something else. But our goal is unalloyed devotion, that we have no other attraction than to serve Krishna. And in that state, either the material world or spiritual world, wherever we are, doesn't matter because everywhere we will be able to see Krishna and to serve Krishna. And that is actually how we become happy. No matter what uh, you are attracted to in material life, in the material world, something better is there in the spiritual world. If one is feeling attraction for friendship, oh, uh, I don't want to be lonely. I want to have others around me. Uh, One should realize friendship in the material world is simply exploitative on the platform of friends and enemies and what everyone can get from everyone else, as we discussed yesterday. But friendship in the spiritual world is uh, perfect. It is totally non-exploitative. Uh, it is not based on simply what resources or enjoyment one can squeeze out of somebody else. One might be attracted to various amorous activities and want to enjoy in that way. But the greatest lover is Krishna. Do you think that you cannot be satisfied by becoming a lover of Krishna? The so-called love of this material world is once again, like everything, simply based on exploitation. While the love of the spiritual world is actual love. Whatever one is attracted to, one can actually find that in relationship with Krishna. So why not? Why not become purified? Why not just focus all of one's activities on serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead and becoming cleansed of all of this material contamination that is completely eradicated? Now go and see the threefold bending form of Krishna uh, and become attracted to that form and forget all of these uh, nonsense material forms that we have become attracted to. Okay, maybe one cannot go to Vrindavan and search for Krishna on the bank of the Yamuna, but I believe everybody on the call can come to Gita Nagari and take darshan of Sri Sri Radha Damodar. It is the same threefold bending form that is there on the banks of the Yamuna. There is no difference between the deity form and Krishna himself. Uh, it is only our vision that is different. So if we understand by hearing from self-realized souls like Srila Prabhupada, the Acharyas, then we can realize the actual position of Krishna, the actual position of material enjoyment, and the actual process of becoming purified, which is devotional service. As we will read later in this chapter, there are 9 processes of devotional service, and the one especially recommended for this age is the chanting of the holy name, kirtanam. Specifically the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One should always chant this mantra, uh, no matter what external circumstances are there, and be very careful to avoid offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in order to make swift progress. One should very carefully study the offenses to the holy name and try to eliminate all of them in order to very quickly make advancement. Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in the Harinam Chintamani that if one is offenselessly chanting and is hearing from the spiritual master, one can attain the platform of pure love in a few days. That is all that it takes. That if one gives up the offenses towards the holy names and submissively hears from a bona fide spiritual master, one can immediately become a pure devotee and have pure love of Krishna. Uh, there's even in the Bhagavatam, Katvanga Maharaj, they just take a few moments and he attained the perfection of life. So we should apply ourselves very seriously to this process. Of course, we don't know how much time we have left, but most likely for the majority of us, we have more than a few moments or a few days. So there's plenty of opportunity to become Krishna conscious. So we should pray and we should entreat Krishna to allow us to become attracted to his threefold bending form and forget all of this nonsense material enjoyment that we've been attempting and failing to enjoy life after life after life for billions and trillions of lifetimes. So I will stop here. We have about 15 minutes left for any comments, questions, complaints. Madhupan Leela or Dasya Prem.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
I will.
Um, okay, so yeah, thank you for giving class this morning. On this point about what was it? Yeah, finding like real pleasure and getting away from this temporary, so-called pleasure.
Mhm.
Yeah, like this desire to like, mm, learn about mundane things, and there's so many like things out. There's so many knowledge, so much knowledge out there and of the world that's like can be very enticing to the conditioned mind. And because we have the tendency to hear things, then it seems like we always want to be like, yeah, hearing something and learning about something, and then we're attracted to these mundane things. So yeah, how like if we're not just attracted to reading Bhagavatam all day, like we also feel like we need to mix it up or something. Um, how can we do that in such a way that's also still purifying us?
Yeah, so attraction to the question for those in the Pujari room. uh, is that there is attraction for these various other things, specifically mundane knowledge and wanting to learn these different things. And naturally, the living entity is attracted to hearing things. So if one still has such attachments, how do we basically deal with that while still being on the path of purification? And the answer is basically the same for any other form of material enjoyment. That you basically have two options, which is, or I guess technically three options, but really two, which is uh, one is to just kind of, I guess you could say, cold turkey it, just cut it out and uh, ride the waves of longing until they go away. The second option is to try to engage it in Krishna's service. Uh, that there's so much preaching to do. There's in every field. I know in my own experience, I also have an attraction to learning and mundane knowledge and things like that. So I try to dovetail. I try to utilize the science and philosophy in preaching Krishna consciousness. By writing or speaking in a certain way that uses those skills or that knowledge. Uh, so if one can't or doesn't want to immediately give it up, one can utilize it in devotional service. Uh, and generally, uh, engaging with these things in a regulated way. That was the Vedic system, is that we have the choice of either giving up these desires uh, and kind of just tolerating when they appear, or utilizing them in a uh, regulated way and in Krishna's service. Of course, that requires a lot of toleration as well, but one at least gets to indulge here and there every so often. And it's just like sex desire. You have the choice of giving it up completely or uh, utilizing it in a regulated way in the Grihastha ashram for doing for and then engaging such in service of raising Krishna conscious children for some time before giving it up completely when one takes Vanaprastha sannyas. And pretty much every material desire, including material knowledge, there's the same dichotomy. Either just give it up or engage it in service. Uh, of course, it's not that all knowledge we can engage in service. Just like we wouldn't engage there's not really a way to engage a butcher shop, for example, in Krishna service. Even material knowledge, if somebody wants to study the, I don't know, Kama Sutra or some tantric black magic, those things are better just to be completely given up rather than just studied. Uh, but the general principle is the same, that, yeah, like with all material desires, you can either renounce it or engage with it in a regulated way and try to use it in Krishna service. So hopefully that answered the question. If there are any other comments or questions. that anyone has?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for a very enlightening class. I specifically just the point on how identity um, determines the direction of our attraction. So
Mhm,
if I identify as a servant of Krishna, then I become attracted to Krishna. If I identify with the various material designations, I'm an engineer, I'm black, I'm a man, then I basically identify with the connection of that designation. So, okay, if I'm a man, then I am, then what are other men doing? Other men are, chasing women or they have a partner, whatever, etc. So, what I'm trying to illustrate is we see that uh, with I with this viewpoint that identities drive the direction of attraction, we also see in the purport is that Prabhupada is referencing these designations as covering, right? So, for example, like in electromagnetism, we see that like a solenoid, that if you change the direction of the current, you change the force through the coil, right?
mhm,
So that's one aspect of it. But then what Prabhupada is talking about here in the purport is also talking that these material designations somewhat they cover the natural attraction that one has for Krishna. And so there's seems like he's implying a decrease in the force of attraction to
mhm,
Krishna. But um, just as like even a magnet, if you cover it with dust, there's like a decrease. So so basically there's two, it seems like there's a two contradictory thing. Well, they're not really contradictory, but like how do you synthesize the two? With designations acting as a covering, but at the same time, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is saying that one's natural love for him gets transformed when it gets contacted with material mode of passion and it transforms into lust. So there's not really a substance of the attraction per se in terms of its force, but there's just a change in direction. So, how do you synthesize the two?
So the question for those in the Pujari room was talking about this point of covering, and it seems like when we talk about being covered, that the attraction decreases. But Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that the attraction is transformed into lust when in contact with the material mode of passion, which uh, you know, seems like it isn't a decrease, just a transformation. So how do we understand both of these statements to be true simultaneously? My thoughts on that uh, is that from from one point of view, our attraction to Krishna is decreasing because we aren't attracted to the threefold bending form or his pastimes or things like that, and instead we're chasing after these material objects based on our material designations. From another point of view, there is nothing other than Krishna to be attracted to, because the external energy is also the energy of Krishna. Sachinta Beta Abeta Tattva. It is simultaneously Krishna and not Krishna. So when we are attracted to material enjoyments, the underlying attraction, the underlying force is still attraction to Krishna. But because of our unwillingness to serve him, We are attracted to the energy that we can attempt to dominate. So in the spiritual world, there's no domination. There's no exploitation, because everybody recognizes that he is a servant of Krishna. In the material world, there's attraction to Krishna's external aspects, but we don't realize that it's Krishna. So therefore, we can also say that there's decrease in the attraction to Krishna, because we don't see, we don't recognize that actually the person behind this energy. But on the other hand, we can also say that it's the same attraction, just corrupted by contact with the material modes of nature and material desire. So that's how I would understand both of these statements.
That's a good answer. Just like demons, definitely they don't like Krishna. One can't say that it's a like with them they like out and out don't like Krishna, and so from their bhava, definitely there's a decrease of Krishna. Just like Hiranyakashipu, he absolutely hates Vishnu, and he knows who Vishnu is. I was also thinking as you're speaking that just like the material nature, or at least Maya, she has a throwing potency and a covering potency, and that accommodates for a change of direction and also a decrease in the attractive force.
Yeah.
Thanks, Prabhu.
Thank you. All right. Any last 2 minutes, comments or questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haribol, Prabhu.
Got a quick comment. There's a third option for extricating oneself from the entanglement of sense gratification. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna recommends, among other things, regulating the senses. Srila Prabhupada also advocated various types of regulation. And in one famous instance, he discovered that one devotee, Shama Sundar, whom Srila Prabhupada had engaged in carving Jagannath deities, discovered that Shama Sundar was still smoking cigarettes. He came to see Shama Sundar and the progress on the carving of these deity forms, and saw a pack of cigarettes. And his advice to Shama Sundar was that he regulate his smoking by each day reducing the number of cigarettes that he smoked by one. So if he's smoking 20 cigarettes a day, then tomorrow 19, and the day after that 18, and so on, until eventually you reach 0, and then maintain that. That's one example of regulation. And there's other types of regulation, but anyway, it's a third option. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your comments, Prabhu. The conch shell just sounded, so Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Radha Damodar ki jai.